I just got tired of people lying to me. What's going on, everybody? I know, stop yelling. I'm back. All right, cool. Had a lot of stuff going on holiday season, but welcome back. So we have today with us a newer product to the market. This is the Rost RM1C. So, got to give you the backstory real quick. I was at GunCon 2024 up at Brownells. I ran into the owner of the company, Chris, and he was like, hey, would love for you to try out this product I have. I want to get your professional opinion about the firearm. I was like, cool. So, I want to tell you, this was sent to me. I want to be very, very upfront and honest. This was sent to me. So is this, but we'll talk about that later. I pick up the gun, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I thought when I first picked it up. So let's talk about it. So without the optic plate on it, so please don't judge me or don't judge the aesthetics of the gun because I don't have the optic plate on, but that will make sense by the end of the video. This is the RM1C. To me, it is an aesthetically pleasing gun. It's not ugly. It doesn't make you want to throw up. I actually love the way they package it. This is the box that it comes in. I've marred my box up, scratched it up. You know, you don't care about a box, but I like and can appreciate, you know, somebody that takes time to do some good packaging and make you feel like, you know, you spent your money in a worthy way. So I got it. I'm like, all right, let's go over what I like about it. The features, get that out of the way. I like the fact that it has ambidextrous mag release. I'm just a fan of ambi and also ambidextrous slide style. I like the fact that it comes with different back straps. I also like the takedown and ease of takedown of the firearm, you know, very Glockish, if you will. So those are the things that jumped out at me right away that I liked. And there were some other things that I had to go figure out, and I'll tell you by the end of the video what I like about them. This came with a 15-round magazine and a 17-round magazine. This would be 17-rounder, 15-rounder. When I first looked at the gun, this is what I said. So, all right. Every time I have seen a video, every time I have talked to someone, and I had only shot someone else's once before this, every single time, I'm like, everybody says it is the best thing ever. And I mean, I gotta tell you, every time I look at a video about whatever the widget or wadget or whatever the hell it is, whether it's a firearm, a new computer, a phone or whatever, and everybody starts off with, it's the best ever, I immediately discount the product, immediately, because there has to be something. If you are truly critiquing and reviewing, not overviewing, but really reviewing, that you are going to find something that you can say will be better. If we didn't do that, we wouldn't have Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5 variations of things. We wouldn't be on 16 or 35 iPhones, whatever the hell it is. Okay, so we got to be able to have an honest conversation about things. If I'm going to shoot this gun, I want to put this gun through its paces, 5,000 rounds. I want to put 5,000 rounds through this firearm. I want to see if I can break it. I want to prove that maybe people are lying. I wanted to prove that I can find something wrong with anything. At the same time, while being honest in the critique or review of the firearm, because the end consumer is going to want to know what they're getting their hands on. Okay, so right now, we're going to take you to the range. I want you guys to get introduced to the individuals that are going to be helping run 5,000 rounds through this firearm in one day. Let's go to the range. So, start at the end down there. Go ahead and tell us who you are, man. And
My name's Brandon Davis, former law enforcement. I am a firearms instructor for No Other Choice Firearms, and I'm also in charge of the range here.
Yeah, we had to meet our diversity quota.
I'm Harrison Benton, owner of Double Tap Coalition, and I specialize in firearms training.
Chris Jones, owner of One Shot LLC, lead instructor, and I specialize in firearm safety and training.
As you can see, they're all nervous. It's okay. It's okay. We're gonna break them in on this camera thing. So that's the problem. People think just because you shoot guns and you do all this cool stuff in front of crowds, when these little boxes get turned on, everybody get a little shot like that. I am former Delta. I appreciate you guys all sacrificing your time coming out today to help out with this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna try to see if the Rost firearm is a viable option for self-defense. Now, I will tell you, before this video gets too far, I'm all about the POU, or philosophy of use of a gun when I'm going to be reviewing it, right? There are certain guns for certain things, right? So I want to see for, you know, at an MSRP of, we got to be careful because it's going to go on YouTube, of 4.5 chickens, okay? At an MSRP of 4.5 chickens, which you can probably get it closer to 4 chickens, then it will serve a certain audience. Not saying it can't go up or down depending on people's budgets, but it is targeting a certain person. I believe that individual is going to be the everyday consumer that may have 1 to maybe 5 or 6 firearms, that is looking for a viable concealed carry option that is not going to break the bank, that will also have holster support and all these aftermarket things that people want, right? Can it take a red dot? Can I put a light on it? Can I get a holster for the gizmo? And all these different things, right? I don't think this is really going toward the audience, and you guys can tell me if you disagree. We can have a conversation. I don't think this is going toward the audience that's going out to spend, say, $4,000 on a 2011 platform or a double stack 1911.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
So I think when we review guns, we have to be honest about who that firearm is going to serve. However, and you guys tell me if you disagree, I'm also a fan of, I don't give a damn who the gun is supposed to service. It needs to go bang.
Oh, definitely need to go bang.
It's got to work. It's got to work. All
Reliably too, not just go bang.
Yeah.
Like it got to fucking hold up.
Reliably go bang. Tell me, go more into that.
So reliably, in my definition of reliably go bang, I'm saying like it's not gonna break after 500 rounds.
Okay.
Because I think I had a Taurus G2C and the frame cracked, and we were only at like 320 rounds. I also had a SIG P320 that the trigger I experienced a dead trigger, and I was only 70 rounds into that. So reliably go bang. Can we get past 500 rounds with no failures? I get it. We got to break it in a little bit, but can we get past 500 accurately, safely, without the shit breaking?
Okay. When I was having that discussion on the internet, I used the car analogy to make it easy. Most places, I think the speed limit tops off at 75 miles an hour, right? No matter where you go. Now, you want your car to be able to do 75 miles an hour, like you would want your car to be able to shoot 500 rounds. You also want that vehicle to be able to do 100 if you need it.
True.
Right? True. So you need for that platform to be able to go beyond the standard or the normal limit, because that might be what it calls for that day. Your normal might be that I need this gun to crank out a couple of thousand rounds. Your normal might be I need for this thing to shoot reliably, even after 2,000 rounds through it, I need it to still be able to function. Because this handgun could be in the hands of somebody, because we all dream about that brand new student. We dream about this student, right? We dream about the one that comes in for their first class, and then next thing you know, they buying 1,000 round cases of ammo, and they really working, and they going and they going. Well, I don't want to set you up with a gun, and then you turn out to be that person that really wants to train. You would invest it, the $459 or whatever the case may be, and then all of a sudden you get 600 rounds in and your gun gone, right? So I don't want to put a damper on people like that either. So we're going to go with it from that perspective. So internet, I hate to tell you, for people that are like, hey, I only want to spend a few $100 because I only need it to work, to 10% of what you guys are normally requesting, I'm going to tell you that you don't know what your situation is going to be, and there should be a baseline of performance for a gun. Me personally, mine, I think you're very gracious. For me, if I'm going to carry a gun, you have to go past 5,000, which is the reason why I put this test at 5,000 rounds. Now, and that's just for carry. I am carrying right now on me a Glock 19X that has cranked out 12,000 rounds. Review coming soon, right? But it's a reason why I am now carrying the gun. Same thing with my SIG. Now, I think on my SIG, I stopped at my X macro. I stopped at like 2,800 rounds, just because it was cute and I wanted to start carrying it. So I rushed that one through. Now, to test this today, we have, thanks to the gun food, we have certain ammo out here, because we don't want to just run 115 grain, but we do have 115 grain. We have 124 grain. We have 158 grain. We also have 147 grain jacketed hollow points. So we are going to put this thing through the gauntlet of different testing. I believe we do have a couple of boxes of Winchester. I saw some S&B over there. Pretty much we have a bunch of Norma, and all this is coming from the gun food. Make sure you check out the gun food. I'll give you a little discounty thing that might save you some thing on your Freedom Seas for your thing. Okay, it's YouTube, so just read between the things. Okay, we'll do that for you. But only thing we're going to do to this gun, guys, to let you know, is we're going to go ahead and oil it. I'm going to give it a little bit of oil. We do have to take the first few shots. We have a Gideon red dot on top of it, so we need to go ahead and make sure the red dot is dialed in. But we got 12 magazines. That's another thing. So I'm gonna give Ross Martin this. I said, hey, I'll review this gun, but we're gonna really test this gun, because this gun is targeting people that are near and dear to my heart, which is the everyday blue collar worker, right? The everyday, hey, I work at Home Depot. Hey, I'm a carpenter. Hey, I might be an IT professional. Guns ain't my thing. I just want something that's reliable to defend myself. So these are the people that are keeping the Second Amendment industry alive. These are the people that want to protect their families. And I believe this is who this gun is targeting very specifically. So I told him, I said, hey, I need 10 additional magazines, and I need for you to invest in 5,000 rounds of ammo if you want me to really test this thing. And he was like, say less.
Say less.
Say less, right? So I appreciate somebody to stand by their product. Now, we're going to go ahead and start shooting this thing, and let's see if we can break the Rost Martin. But before we do that, Brandon, based off who we believe this gun is servicing, give me your top 3 things you are looking for this gun to do.
Top 3, first thing, it needs to be reliable. As Harris was saying, it has to at least make it to 500 without breaking or have some major malfunctions. Needs to be comfortable to shoot. If it's biting my hand has awkward angles, I don't want to shoot it much. And the third thing is it's accurate.
Okay, Harris?
So I'm still going reliability for one. I like capacity. I'm always looking for capacity. I think we already said it's 15 rounds, 15 round magazine. So that's my thing. If you know me, personal concealed carry, 15 rounds or better. I gotta have the 15. Number 3, how easily is it to accessorize it? Optics, do we need a plate for it? What accessories can I put on it? Does it interchange with magazines, or is it what's the word I'm looking for? Proprietary. Is it proprietary with the magazine? So that's what I'm looking for.
You know what? I don't even know the answer to that. We're going to figure that out for the end of the video.
I like that.
Go ahead.
So reliability. Let's keep it consistent. Reliability. Feel. It's got to feel comfortable in my hand. It's got to grip. It's got to be able to be able to hold on to properly. Well, even in stress situations, if my hands are sweaty, can I really still grip this gun? So feel, reliability, and I have to go with accessories. What can I do to it outside of making it go bang reliably?
All right.
That's it.
Okay. I like that. My thing for this particular type of platform that I'm looking for is I'm going to echo it. It's got to work, right? So it's got to be reliable. That's not an option. 2, I'm looking for what people generally refer to as the recoil impulse, right? How does this gun feel under recoil? And I get it, to people that really run guns, you're like, man up or woman up, I get that. But remember, I believe this gun is going to initially target a certain audience. And let's just face facts. It's kind of like starting somebody off with a Smith & Wesson 642 titanium airweight, right? If you take a new shooter out there and you load that thing with some 38 plus P and they shoot it, even if they're accurate, they're going to be like, that hurt. And I'm not shooting.
And I'm not shooting it again.
Right, I'm done, So we have to think about different things like that. So I'm not saying that I expect the gun to, ride flat like some of your high-end stuff with a custom guide rod and, ports and all that. But I want to make sure that it's fairly reasonable in how it responds to the performer. And then the third thing, I'm also going to go with aftermarket support, right? Can I get things for this gun? Are there going to be future coming upgrades for it? And generally, like, what red dot footprint do you have? For me, it's kind of hard to argue with the fact that you just should have an armor footprint. I don't really think that there's anything to argue about that, right? You should have an armor footprint for this type of gun. And then I want to know, what kind of holster support is it? And I hope to give you guys some answers for that. I will say on this particular gun, we have an Enforce APL-C mounted to it. The reason I bring that up is because a lot of your holsters sometimes are light bearing holsters. So if you can find a holster that works for that light that you might want to carry, then that's all you need, and the gun will work sufficiently therefore. But enough of that, man. Let's get to shooting the gun. Y'all ready to start cranking out some rounds?
Let's make it.
Make it? What we pointing at?
She got to do an intro.
Hey, yeah, come on.
Hi, I'm Caitlin.
There you go. All right. So, yeah, that's right. They multiply. So, we are going to get started on the Rost Martin. All right, y'all ready?
Yeah.
Let's get it cranked.
Do it.
So it looks like we have an extra recoil spring and guide rod. I'll put an extra striker in here too. We got a barrel in here. I'm just opening this thing. Then we have a recoil spring. And then we have 5 15-round magazines and 5 17-round magazines. So interesting. Like I said, I like doing this stuff. Bring the camera up here. I like doing these things, like opening boxes in front of people, because I did not know this was the packing list. I literally thought it was just 10 magazines in here. So that's going to really make sense when we start doing things like testing this thing for accuracy at the end, because that's going to really test the barrel, right? So the barrel's still holding up after 5,000 rounds. So I think it's pretty interesting. You make what you want to make of it. They send extra parts. If we have to swap parts out, I am going to tell you we have to swap parts out. But to know that we have extra parts is pretty cool. Yep, there's the extra barrel. We have the extra spring. Okay, that's the striker. There it is. Walk over here with me too for a second, just for you guys can see what we got going on. We have 1,000 rounds here of 9mm from Norma, thanks to the gun food. All right, so you see that this is 124 grain. Next to it, this is 115 grain. Okay, full metal jackets. And I believe this is, I haven't opened this up, but you know what? Let's open it up on camera. Will you move back? Give me some space, man. What's wrong with you? Okay. See what we got here. It's my Black Talon knife by Cold Steel, by the way. Pretty good blade. Oh, okay, so this is Blazer. Like I said, we are learning all this shit together. Blazer, 115 grain 9mm. All right. Here we have, there's a random box of Winchester Defense Jacket of Hollow Point. That's cool, because I don't know what people are going to be picking up out in the real world. Got some S&B. This is 124 grain Jacket of Hollow Point. We have 147 grain Winchester again. We also have this Norma 158 grain subsonic. And then after that, we have 1,000 rounds of Norma. This is 115. And then we have 124 grain, also 1,000. So this is the ammo we're going to try to run today. Try to keep this thing as honest with you guys as possible. So without further ado, let's get to shooting. Yeah, because fuck accuracy. So we're roughly 450 to 500 rounds in of this review of the Rost Martin so far. The one thing that I will point out, and this is with the gun red dot combo. The gun is fine, so we'll get to more of that later. But I don't know if you guys can really see that. The red dot is already just covered with smut and all the carbon and things like that. The gun is pretty hot, and the red dot is like a floating mirage almost inside the window. So I'm not saying that that's bad, I'm not saying that it's good, I'm just saying that that is the result of rapid fire out of this. I did notice when we were zeroing in the dot, we got about 10 rounds in and it was doing it then as well. So because even I said, hey, I gotta clean this glass off, and I don't know why it's skunked up so fast. So that could be because the way that how close the red dot is actually sitting to the ejection there. So this is after 1,000 rounds. This thing is very hot, so we're going to take it over here to the shade and let it calm down. So 1,000 rounds down.
I'm pretty impressed so far.
You're going to see this being a reoccurring theme. But when we talk about it, I want to show you in studio what it looks like. So that trigger safety, okay, let me get it close for you guys. That trigger safety right there, okay, does not run the entire length of the firearm. I'm sorry, does not run the entire length of the trigger. That is a mistake. Okay, now I get it because there is a shelf here, so nice resting spot for your finger, kind of gives you an index point to be running the gun. Here's my problem with that. Right now, if I press it right there, bam, right? However, nervous self-defense situation, which this is designed for, self-defense situation, and I drag the bottom of this trigger guard, that trigger does not go off, okay? And you have to almost press until the fat of your finger, or your finger just has a tendency to roll up for it to go off. Now, I find that to be a concern. I just do. So if I take this here and you look, if you look here, that trigger safety runs the entire length of the trigger. So right there, if I come dragging the trigger guard up top, wherever I'm at, it goes off, right? So that is the concern with the design of the trigger for me. I've communicated that to Rost Martin. I don't like that. Now, I saw on their website that they actually have a performance trigger for this. So what that tells me, the performance trigger looks to be identical in exterior design. I'm pretty sure if they're calling it a performance trigger, there is something different about it. However, what that tells me is that you can replace and drop in your own trigger in this gun. So I would love to see a different trigger with the trigger safety extending the length of the body of the trigger itself, or the shoe, if you will. That way I don't have to worry about if I drag at the bottom here, I can't get that trigger to go off and depress. I just simply, as far as the rest of the trigger and how it operates and how it feels, I think it's pretty good. I actually like the design of the shoe. I'm not gonna lie, I like that. It felt good, nice flat face trigger, you know, I liked it. Nothing was wrong except for that trigger safety. But outside of that, I wasn't mad at the break. I wasn't mad at how the trigger responded. Let's go back to the range for some more shoes.
There it is. The optic lost 0, Brandon.
You lost 0.
Hold this thing down for safety. There you go. What are we about? 23-ish?
23, 24.
Just a little failure to feed. It's not a horrible thing. You can kind of see. You see that right there? It's not a bad thing. I'm not gonna say it's the end of the world, but I gotta admit, we got almost 2,500 rounds in. It's the first one we've had. So, all right, but just for you guys to see it.
I'm gonna say we probably need some more oil too.
And we have been dropping the magazines in the dirt
Yeah, I don't care about that.
intentionally.
Yeah, whatever. All right. We don't give a damn about no dirt, man. We're gonna run the guns, but not a big deal, guys. It happened, all right? So I'm gonna get the gun back up, and we're gonna keep going, but we'll make a note of it. Do you think, here, tell me here, we're about halfway through. Do you think that we should have given it some more oil at this point? Because the goal is, we gave it oil in the beginning, and we're gonna cook through 5,000 rounds. I shouldn't have to give it no oil. But what do you think? You think that's fair or not? All right, let's see. Shoot faster. Oh, I'm shooting fast and accurate, sir. I don't know what all this shit y'all been doing all day.
We're trying to break it in, KD. We were breaking it in. Break it.
Red red dot has given up.
In less than 3,000.
About 2,700 rounds.
2,700 rounds.
No, 2,700. All right, well, the red dot has told us, screw you guys. So, front side it is. Oh, it came back on.
Are you serious?
Oh, the red dot. It came back on. It went away. Went away. Red dot came off.
Red dot came off. Off.
Failure to feed. Failure to feed.
What I'm going to do is take these Winchester 147 Defense jacket of hollow points, and I'm going to run them in my 19X to see if we have an issue. It does not mean that the gun is bad. I am just doing this because a lot of people are going to be questioning the Winchester 147. This is a small sample size. I'm just going to do, I think it's 16 rounds, and just see what happens, all right? I do know this gun. I know this gun is very well tuned. I got over 12K through this gun. Review coming soon, but let's see what happens. Okay, well, whatever that means, take it for what it is. Thank you. Hold on, I gotta load my gun back up. White people out here. Hey man, where my other round go?
I put it in the gun, or in the magazine. I'm
Put it
sorry.
in the magazine. All right, gotta, you know.
It wasn't to find ammunition, so I didn't put it in
Yeah.
my pocket.
So for whatever that means, you saw the 147 Winchester Defense, ran out of a Glock 19X, my custom build. Okay, whatever. It does not like the Rost Martin, and maybe the Rost Martin don't like it. Maybe they had a relationship before that didn't work. I don't know. But they don't get along. They just don't. Okay? So take it for what it's worth. I'm not saying don't buy Winchester 147s. I'm definitely at this point I'm gonna reserve how I feel about the Rost Martin for the final cut, but works fine out of the Glock. Didn't like the Rost Martin, but in fairness, the Rost Martin, they ate everything else we threw at it with no problem. So take it for what it's worth. We got through 5,000 rounds of the Rost Martin. Brad, what's the model number on that thing? I always forget.
R1MC.
R1MC?
Yep.
Okay, so we got through our 5,000 round test of the Rost Martin.
RM1C.
What?
It's RM1C.
I got dyslexia. Stop doing that. What is it?
RM1C.
RM1C. Okay, so the Rost Martin 1C. Okay, so we've gotten through our 5,000 round test of the Rost Martin 1C.
Right, correct.
Hey, messing with my dyslexia, man. I can't be all the numbers and
I get it.
man. All right, so I don't want to ruin it for anybody. I'm actually gonna go last because I might finish my opinion in studio because we're losing sunlight here. But we're gonna start at the end. Okay, so for clarity, we went through 5,000 rounds. About 500 rounds of that were jacketed hollow point self-defense rounds. The rest of it was 124, 147. We had some 158s. We had 115s. So we ran through the gauntlet of any kind of, and I wouldn't even see the 158s are common. Most people aren't going to shoot those. Ran through Blazer, Norma, Winchester, S&B. Was that it? Those are 4 ammos?
Yeah.
Okay, we ran through thousands of rounds of Norma and I know 1,000 rounds of Blazer. And I think the Blazer was 115.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. All right, so that's what we've shot. Now, I don't want to influence, and I am hearing what people don't like or like for the first time as well. So, Harrison, take it away, sir. What you like, what you don't like. And ultimately, I want to know, at the end of the day, when you get done with your debrief, yes or no for your clientele.
All right, cool. So the first thing I'm gonna talk about, I know earlier I spoke about reliability. I do like the reliability and the tolerance of this guy. After 5,000 rounds, it pretty much held up. Even with the few issues that we ran into, I did like that. What I didn't like was the trigger. Like, I'm just not a fan of this trigger. If we could upgrade this trigger a little bit, because to me, I felt like the trigger was sticking a little bit. The reset was very crisp. I'm not a fan of this trigger. One more compliment before I give y'all my yes or no is the recoil. The recoil to me wasn't bad, given the price point and the target audience for this, or who the end user would be. The recoil was pretty decent in terms of what you're spending on a gun like this. So to answer the question, KD, is it a yes or no for my clientele? It's a yes. It's definitely a yes. I feel like the chickens on this, the amount of chickens you got to spend on it, I think you're gonna get your money worth. If this is what you're in the market for, I definitely say yes.
Okay, cool. Brandon?
So I like main things about this. So it's reliable. We did have the one issue with the 147 grains, but that was just one type of ammunition. Some guns don't like it, some ammo, so I'm not gonna hold it against it on that. It ate everything else for 5,000 rounds. Helmet had a handful of issues. A lot of them, by half of them, probably magazine related, from just dirt getting into it and all that kind of stuff. Shooting it, it's very comfortable in the hand. You can get a whole firing grip on it, and it doesn't bite me in any way or cut me. There's no sharp edges. Very well rounded to where carrying it or shooting it, I would have no issue either way. In accuracy, I was able to keep I could shoot, if I slow fire, I could shoot about $half size coins. Slow fire, even after 5,000 rounds, no issue. The only thing I do not like at all about this gun is this trigger. And the reason I don't like it is this dingus right here only goes about 3/4 the way down. If you put your finger here and you hit the trigger before the dingus, I can't pull the trigger and I feel like I'm gonna break it. I have to move up to get it to go off. That's the only thing I do not like about it. Other than that, it's a solid gun. I would recommend it.
Okay, cool.
Again, I got to echo what they said about reliability. After 5,000 rounds, it stayed true, pretty close to almost perfect, I would say. The recoil management is definitely manageable. I would definitely recommend this. Let me jump to recommending as far as training. I'd make this a good training gun. It's very reliable as far as that's concerned. I do not like the trigger. I got to echo my comrades here, my fellow shooters in arms. That trigger is it's not there. Everything else, the way it feels in the hand, it's a nice, comfortable gun to hold. The texture is not really rough. The serrations are excellent, nice and deep. Again, it's a great gun. I would say yes, I'd recommend it for a first-time gun. If the chickens, 4.5 chickens is all you got, this is a good. It's definitely a good deal for 4.5 chickens. Most first-time shooters are not going to be putting 5,000 rounds through their firearm at the very beginning. So yeah, I definitely recommend this. I'd recommend it as a carry gun for a first-time shooter. So I really would. So it's a yes for me.
We started this off with a red dot on top of this. There is no more dot. When did we lose that? Around 3,000 rounds?
Yes, about 3.5.
We started losing about pieces. First we lost the dot, then we lost the plate.
The plate was like 4,000.
4,000 on the plate. All right, so, and we allowed it to happen. There was no stopping it and retightening stuff. The dot flew off. Didn't know that was going to happen. Smacked me right in the face.
Is that a pin missing?
Is that a what?
Is that a pin missing?
No, that's a roll pin.
Okay.
Don't be trying to just find stuff. I ain't trying to nitpick. So this is a nice pistol. Way nicer than what I expected. I'm not gonna lie. Way nicer than what I expected. The way that I was able to handle it, I think the recoil management is. I'll start there. Accuracy. I watched all you guys. You guys went for more accuracy toward the end. We were running a little bit low on ammo, and I wanted them to get a chance to really dial it in. And I watched the groups. Accuracy is not going to be a problem out of the factory barrel at 5,000 rounds. Don't think it's going to be an issue. Recoil management, I think, is going to be, if you have a newer shooter, or somebody that does not understand proper grip on a firearm, I think they are going to encounter the recoil management as questionable. I believe if you have a basic understanding of grip, the recoil management is okay.
No, it's all right.
It's okay. It's not something I go, ew. It's not something I go, damn, they really dialed that in. It's just okay. So with that, the caveat is what everybody should be doing anyway is you should be taking a professional firearms training class with any gun you buy so you can pick up any gun with the proper technique and run them. So,
Agreed.
Second, I don't know what y'all need to do about this trigger, but we need to figure it out immediately. Let me tell you something. This is the problem I had immediately. So talking to the owner, he was like, hey, now to his credit, I want professionals to run this gun to give me some feedback. My man, got you. I've trained thousands of people. I have never in a self-defense situation told them exactly where their finger's going to be on that trigger when they go to fire a gun. Under stress, coming out of whatever you're coming, boom. I've never, in all the training I've taken and all the people I've trained and all the classes I've been in, hasn't been a thing, right? So where I have to ding it at is, Brandon touched on it, this trigger safety? Dingus? Fine.
That's the professional term.
This
Dingus.
absolutely needs to come full.
The ambidextrous release, though, I don't think this is going to be an issue for the average shooter. But let me see,
Why are you trying to take the gun from me?
if you look, when you look down in the gun, you have to do this in studio. When you look
Okay.
down in the gun, so press the button, press the magazine release. You see a plate comes back.
Oh, yeah.
All right. After about 3,500, 4,000 rounds, we found all of us had a little bit of issue. Like we push in the button and it wouldn't release. We had to like go the other side or push it in really hard. I think if you don't clean that, it can be difficult to release a magazine.
Now, we started experiencing that a couple thousand rounds in, right?
Yes.
All right, so that's probably some build-up issue, but good way to point it out. Don't be trying to take guns from me, man. That's the problem with y'all. Y'all always trying to take them other people. We out here having a good time. We having a good time. But let me step back in line. So ultimately, I'll finish my thoughts in studio, but ultimately, while I'm out here with the fellas, and so I can probably try to keep this all in one clip, would I recommend this to my students under the guise that when they pick up a gun, no matter what your job is, now obviously this isn't going to be a duty carry gun, right? But this could still be an off-duty carry option for even my law enforcement clientele. Would I recommend this to anyone, understanding that you might need to rely on the Rost Martin to save your life? Would I recommend it to you? The answer is yes.
Now, on behalf of America's newest gun, we, the panel, vote Rost Martin. Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
Honestly, you heard what I said about if I would recommend this gun at a retail of $469 or $459 MSRP. Retail will be significantly lower than that, closer to $4. Magazines. You can get the 15 and 17 rounders. I had them send, as you saw, a bunch of extra mags. These run on their website $24.50 for the magazines. They're actually the same price, the 15 or the 17. There's a performance trigger. I believe it's like $94.50 that you can buy if you wanted to upgrade the trigger. They have suppressor height sights on the site as well that you can upgrade. So for red dots, things like that, or the threaded barrel, they actually have a threaded barrel for the firearm. I would love to see that come out in different packages and models, right? Like an upgraded one with all the things. But you can't get them separately right now. So you can put a threaded barrel inside your firearm and run your can, and you can get suppressor height sights. I like that as well. And yes, I'm looking at my notes because I can't remember all this stuff. Comes with the RMR plate. You can get other footprints for your red dots that you like. The plates are on the website. They're about $22.50 for the plates. They support all the major ones being used. So if you wanted a different plate, you go on the website. It's $22.50 for you to get the additional plate. But it does come with an RMR plate. And let's see, what else do we have here? So I like those options. I like the fact that you could size of the firearm. So we have here our little modified Tactical Life Glock 45 as far as the slide goes anyway. So what you can see here, what I'm noticing is thickness to a Glock is pretty comparable. Get that up there. There you go. Pretty comparable. Now, when we start talking about grip, though, and this is the Glock 45 for reference, we start talking about grip, you can see that it's significantly longer. And when we start talking about thickness, you can see that, trying to get it focused there. Focus. There you go. Okay. There you can see with the thickness, and the Glock's going to win out on that as well. So slide's about the same. Thickness is about the same as far as the slide goes. Then the width of the grip actually is a lot bigger in the Glock. This is a lot slimmer. I don't mind the grip texture. Now I don't like all the slickness that's available on the gun. Now this is out the box. So I would definitely get some stippling. Give my guy Wayne Hammer a call and maybe get some stippling done on this guy, which will also help with mitigating recoil. But I don't mind this. This isn't bad. The texture isn't bad. It just isn't enough of it for me. But it isn't bad. It isn't a turn off. I would not buy the gun. I mean, hell, I don't have nothing on it, you know? So I would definitely still get the gun with the texturing on there. And I like the way they did it. The reference point for your thumb here and your index finger, so you got your index or reference points on the firearm. You know, I can appreciate that. I like that. There it is, right? There it is right there. Okay, so I can appreciate that and like that. They thought about the small details. I like that. And if you're wondering, what the hell, where the plate at, dude? How come the red dot ain't on the gun? Well, first of all, I'm about to do a review. What the heck? What is this? On the Gideon, this is the Omega. Yeah, so we're gonna have a whole conversation about this guy coming up. Okay, we'll have a whole conversation about the Gideon Omega. All right, so let me be very clear about someone that came to this plate. So let's talk about this plate. This was torqued down right at about 16, 17 inch-pounds, right? 15 would be the min. I know we hit around 16, 17. With Loctite, okay, that goes for the plate and that goes for the optic as well. And I wanted to see. So we'll talk about the optic. The plate itself did become loose at right around that 2,000, 2,500 round mark. All right, and I just wanted to see how far it would go. So am I dinging the gun for that? No. First of all, let's admit, it's kind of fun to see how far someone go before stuff start going crazy, right? Hey, Rost, I told you I was going to give you an honest review, and I did. Look, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz that you hear on every video you watch on YouTube. But do it because I need the help. I've got more videos cranking out. I am about to do a review video of this this optic. But in the meantime, man, like this, share this, head over to nochoice.com. You can support us that way. Please also look in the pinned comment for how you can support the Greenwood Project, our nonprofit community outreach program that is backed by the Second Amendment. Look into all that. Head over to the site, man. Get you some swag. Get the Harriet would have smacked the sugar honey iced tea out of you. You can also get you a No Other Choice hoodie. We got hats. We got all kind of swag over there. Different t-shirts. Support. But that being said, man, I'll see you in the next.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. Pretty reliable gun, but fix the trigger.